Hello everyone. Bali is the most famous part of Indonesia. Even many people from abroad know Bali better than Indonesia. Although Indonesia is a country with a majority Muslim population, Indonesia is not an Islamic country, and there are certain parts where the majority is not Muslim. One of them is Bali, which is predominantly Hindu. Since Indonesia's independence in 1945, there have been a handful of people who wanted to force Indonesia to become an Islamic state, but they failed. They still exist today, and try to Islamize Indonesia in various ways. The method they use today, to force Islamic law throughout Indonesia, is by requiring halal certification. This is stated in Law No. 33 of 2014, concerning halal product guarantees. This law requires all products entering, circulating, and traded in the territory of Indonesia to be halal certified, including service products, and applies in all regions, including Bali, and other regions which are not predominantly Muslim. Non-halal products are required to include a non-halal statement on their products. By including a non-halal statement, this automatically means telling Muslims not to buy the product. Meanwhile, products that are actually okay if consumed by Muslims cannot be traded too if they do not have halal certification. Currently, goods that are actually not related to consumption, such as clothing, refrigerators, and cell phones, are also required to be halal certified, according to the law. Even mosquito and insecticides poisons are also required to be halal certified. Would Muslims want to drink halal poison? This actually caused a wave of protests in society, because this would complicate the economy of the community, especially non-Muslims. But it seems that the Indonesian government does not care about the aspirations of the people, because they are already drunk on religion, and are more concerned with the Islamization program of Indonesia. If this forced halal certification is successful, later they will impose even more severe Islamic law. Currently they are forcing the use of the hijab in state schools for non-Muslim students. Later they can force the use of the burqa, as in Afghanistan. This means you may not be able to see Balinese dance and culture as it is today. All you will see later are women wrapped in cloth from top to bottom, and are also prohibited from dancing and singing. The following is articles on the rejection of mandatory halal certification, especially from Bali. This is from BaliPost.com. Bali tourism identity lost, if halal certified. Several Balinese community leaders reminded the current Minister of Tourism about halal tourism in Bali. Balinese tourism does not need to be halal certified, because it can eliminate the identity of Balinese tourism itself. This was conveyed by tourism practitioner Dr. Gusti Cade Sudua, Monday, November 4, 2024. Moreover, the obligation to carry out halal certification for the tourism industry will not have a significant impact on tourist visits, especially foreign tourists to Bali. Based on BPS Bali data in September 2024, the highest number of visits actually came from non-Muslim tourists. Namely Australia with 148,131, the second highest was China with 41,002, and India with 40,422. There are no Middle Eastern tourists to Bali, there are only Malaysians. That means there are not many Middle Easterners. Of course, there are quite a lot of domestic tourists. In my experience, 25 years in the tourism industry, sometimes a group from Malaysia asks for food not to contain pork, that's all. They are not fanatical about having to have a halal label. That means the influence is very small, he said. Sudua said that Bali tourism must refer to Tourism Law, No. 10 of 2009, namely that tourism development is carried out with consideration of cultural diversity, art, artifacts, natural beauty, diverse flora and fauna, and is not mentioned because of religion. That means that it must be prioritized. If halal, it has only recently emerged, because Indonesia is considered a country with a Muslim majority. But if we talk to foreign guests, none are fanatic. Although in fact in tourist destinations, there are stalls or restaurants that serve halal food. Roast pork is also a choice for tourists, he said. Therefore, according to him, Indonesia must be consistent in cultural tourism. There is no need to create new branding, namely with halal certification, he said. He hopes that the Minister of Tourism in the new cabinet will emulate the previous tourism ministers, who understand Indonesian tourism. Don't let Indonesian tourism, including Bali, lose its identity, like what happened in Singapore. According to him, why is halal branding brought up? After all, what tourists are looking for is the uniqueness of culture, diversity, art. Halal certification is very unurgent and unnecessary. And we must have a principle: the tourism we sell is cultural tourism, he said. Tourism in Bali has been booming since 1990. There are no tourists who are fanatic about halal and non-halal. Like the King of Arabia to Bali in the past, he really enjoyed traveling to Bali. Don't let Bali change, be directed to halal and non-halal. The characteristics of Balinese tourism must be maintained, he said. Bali tourism is developing starting from the bottom society. The development of Bali tourism is inseparable from the role of Balinese culture in it. Until now it has become the basic concept of Indonesian tourism. So that cultural identity and local wisdom should be upheld as the identity of Indonesian tourism. Bali Tourism Board Chairman, Ibu Agung Partha Adnyana said that halal tourism is a step to meet the needs of Muslim tourists, without changing the identity of the main destination, such as Bali. The reason is, it is estimated that there are 20 to 25% of total international tourist visits that require halal qualifications, especially from Muslim countries. According to him, halal certification is important because it can provide comfort for Muslim tourists, ensuring they have access to appropriate tourist facilities, such as halal food and places of worship, so that their tourist experience becomes safer and more memorable. Although there is a halal certification obligation, Gus Agung, his nickname, said it will not limit tourism products and services provided to tourists. The existence of halal certification will not limit tourism products and services sold, he said. Halal certification is only an optional addition for certain products and services to meet the needs of Muslim tourists who want a guarantee of halal. While non-halal tourism products and services can still be available, so that the diversity of choices for tourists is maintained, without changing the identity of the tourist destination. The proof is that one of our hotels, the Royal Santrian, is halal certified, but can still sell alcoholic beverages, he said. Well, I think this is a ridiculous argument. Indonesia is a vast archipelago. There are many places with beautiful scenery as Bali. Take Aceh for example. Of course Aceh also has beautiful beaches, and Aceh has implemented Islamic law. If Muslims want to travel halal, they can go to Aceh. Why don't they want to travel to Aceh? Why do they want to travel to Bali? Because Aceh tourism is not good, noisy with mosque loudspeakers 5 times a day, and implementing Islamic law. While Bali is good, because it is not noisy with mosques, and does not implement Islamic law. Now they want to build lots of mosques, and implement Islamic law in Bali too. They think that will make more Muslim tourists come to Bali. How stupid. They don't think that it will collapse Bali tourism. This is from anthuranews.com. Bali provincial government wants to get special rights regarding mandatory halal certification. The Bali provincial government wants to obtain special provisions regarding the mandatory halal certification policy for all food and beverage products from business actors before October 18, 2024. Bali wants to get special status and not be mandatory in October 2024, said head of the Bali Province Cooperative Small and Medium Enterprises Service, Iwayan Ekadina, in Denpasar Sunday. According to him, the Bali provincial government continues to support the halal certification policy, but it is adjusted to the potential in Bali. It is impossible for all our products in Bali to be halal. If they have the potential to be halal, we will definitely encourage and facilitate it, said Ekadina. However, said Ekadina, Bali with its Hindu majority population, and a number of pork-based food products, certainly cannot be forced to obtain halal certification. Therefore, Ekadina wants entrepreneurs in Bali to be given flexibility regarding food and beverage products that must have a halal label. Every product is required to have a halal label. The aim is to protect consumers and business actors, not something that is troublesome, he said. Ekadina said that to obtain a halal certificate, in essence, the product manufacturing process, business premises, marketing process, and a number of other processes must be in accordance with what is stipulated. For Bali, if possible, we hope to be given flexibility. If it has the potential to be halal, we will definitely encourage it, we will facilitate it. We will also cooperate with the Regional Office of Religion in Bali, because the authority to issue halal is there, he said again. Previously, the head of the Halal Registration and Certification Center of the Halal Product Guarantee Agency, BPJPH of the Ministry of Religion, Siti Amina explained that food and beverage products from all business actors, including MSMEs, are required to include halal certificates before October 18, 2024. For food and beverage products, food additives, as well as products resulting from and services of slaughtering, it is mandatory to have halal certification before October 18, 2024, because it is in accordance with government regulations, said Amina recently. The obligation to obtain halal certification or certificates is regulated in Law No. 33 of 2014, concerning halal product assurance, as amended by Law No. 11 of 2020, concerning job creation. This is also regulated in Government Regulation No. 39 of 2021, concerning the implementation of the halal product assurance sector. MSMEs, or micro, small and medium enterprises, including street vendors, are required to have halal certificates for their products no later than October 17, 2024, or before October 18, 2024. This is from dtik.com. Various reactions from Bali concerned figures regarding the mandatory halal certification. The obligation to have halal certification for products circulating in Indonesia has been in effect since October 18, 2024. This provision has also invited reactions from cultural figures and several tourism actors in Bali. Chairman of the Badung Hotel and Restaurant Association, I Gusti Agung Rai Suryawijaya said that the statement by the head of the Halal Product Guarantee Agency BPJPH, Haikal Hassan, regarding the obligation of halal certification for all products, has sparked unrest in several circles, especially in Bali. Moreover, the statement was not delivered in its entirety, even though it has been stated in the legislation. Moreover, the provision not to require halal certification for non-halal products is actually also regulated, but it was not conveyed massively. We hope that there will be no erroneous statements that cause unrest in other community groups. So this provision needs to be evaluated. Bali has diversity, which is unique, so it remains an attraction, which is sought after, said Rai Friday, November 1, 2024. For him, Haikal Hassan's statement that all products must have halal certificates raises concerns about the sustainability of Bali's tourism industry. Not only concerning processed products, but also concerns in service procedures, processing processes, and other matters. Regarding the certification process, I think it is enough for the producers, enough for the sources to be certified. Because from them the process, for example starting slaughtering and so on. Several Bali restaurant members have also implemented halal and non-halal information signs, said the tourism actor, who is familiarly called Ray. Referring to Government Regulation No. 42 of 2024, concerning the implementation of the halal product assurance sector, Article 2 Paragraph 1, states that products entering, circulating, and traded in the territory of Indonesia must be halal certified. However, Ray considered this to be a concern, when the exception points in Article 2 Paragraph 2 of the regulation were not made public. Article 2 Paragraph 2 states that products made from non-halal ingredients are not required to obtain a halal certificate, with the proviso that a statement stating that they are not halal must be provided in accordance with paragraph 3. A limited meeting, held by a number of figures concerned about Bali, especially from the tourism industry, on Friday, November 1, 2024 in the Dawang area, North Kuta Badung, mostly questioned Haikil's intention not to convey the exception point, thus causing widespread misunderstanding. Another Bali tourism actor, Ketut Jamin, said that Bali has a unique local wisdom compared to other regions. So he realized that the implementation of the regulated certification must be carried out wisely, so as not to have implications for the local wisdom itself. Ketut Jamin then described how non-halal products are also targeted by foreign tourists who come to Bali. Therefore, he considered that the implementation of halal certification cannot be generalized. For them, foreign tourists come to Bali because they can get culinary variations. It's not just about non-halal, but also related to processing, how to serve, which has an impact on the way of service that affects the desire of tourists who actually want to enjoy a relaxed atmosphere more freely, said Ketut. As reported by Detik Hikmah, Haikil Hassan clarified that products containing non-halal ingredients are not subject to halal certification. These products may still be distributed with special labels. What about non-halal ones? Yes, it is absolutely allowed to circulate, as long as it is labeled non-halal, not halal, he said at a press conference at the BPJPH office, Jakarta, Friday, November 1, 2024. The man, who is familiarly called Babe Haikil, gave an example. Pork sauté sellers are still allowed to sell their products, as long as they provide a special sign, such as the words non-halal, or a statement that it contains pork. That's allowed, so go ahead. It's okay and protected by the state, protected by law, he explained. On that occasion, Babe Haikil also explained the purpose of products that must be halal certified, according to Law No. 33 of 2014. What is meant by products, namely food, drinks, cosmetics, medicines, gradually but must. That is the meaning of products, and those circulated in Indonesia, distributed, traded, must be halal certified, he explained. Furthermore, Babe Haikil explained that one of the objectives of establishing halal certification for products in circulation is to protect the Indonesian people. Well, Babe Haikil is lying. The imposition of halal certification is not to protect the Indonesian people, but to Islamize Indonesia. We have no problem if Muslims want to write halal on their products, but this regulation is forcing non-Muslims to get permission from Muslims if they want to trade in Indonesia. For information, halal products are not just about not containing pork. For example, cows. According to true Islamic law, if you want to be called halal, the cow must be slaughtered while calling the name of Allah. Without being slaughtered while calling the name of Allah, it cannot be called halal. So this is actually a way to Islamize. Moreover, in reality, such regulations will be used by radical Muslims to force the closure of non-halal food vendors. This has often happened, for example in Lubuk, North Sumatra. This restaurant clearly displays a picture of a pig and writes non-halal in large letters. But radical Muslims and the local government forced the restaurant to close on the grounds that it was unlicensed. This is from kemenag.go.id. First phase of mandatory halal supervision officially begins in Bali. The first phase of mandatory halal supervision was officially implemented on Friday, October 18, 2024, based on the mandate of Law No. 33 of 2014 concerning halal product assurance and government regulation, No. 39 of 2021. This obligation covers various food and beverage products, including raw materials, food additives, and slaughtering services. In Bali, supervision is carried out simultaneously, in 9 regencies and cities, by the Halal Task Force of the Bali Provincial Ministry of Religious Affairs Office, accompanied by auditors from the Indonesian Audit Board. One of the main points of supervision is the Mombel Slaughterhouse in Badung Regency, which already has a veterinary control number from the Bali Provincial Agriculture Service and is in the process of obtaining halal certification through LPPOM Bali. In addition, supervision is also carried out at the Harris Hotel on Kokro Aminoto Denpasar Street, as well as traditional and modern markets throughout Bali. The purpose of this supervision is to ensure that business actors comply with the provisions in accordance with the Halal Product Assurance System. In order to protect consumer rights, the implementation of this halal certification also provides a sense of security and comfort for the community in consuming halal products. The supervision report will be submitted to the BPJPH of the Ministry of Religious Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia for verification. If violations are found, BPJPH will issue a written warning. With this step, it is hoped that the public will be able to more easily access halal products that meet standards in accordance with the mandate of the laws that have been established. Well, so the enforcement of Islamic law, in the form of mandatory halal certification, is already in effect in Indonesia. But the government has not been able to implement it firmly. If you don't want to see Bali like Afghanistan, please help us by sharing this video to various countries and put pressure on the Indonesian government to revoke the mandatory halal certification law. That's all for this video. See you in the next video, and God bless you.